Talk to him.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Whether the winters were left in the cold. Let's go into the code language. I got another good one for y'all, man. The code language conversation for the day is about hitting the wall. Yeah, I went there. We finna talk about hitting the wall in the code language conversation. And just like yesterday, I actually came up with a definition for this, right? The dating wall. So I defined this as the classic codes. So if you see somebody else come up with a formal definition for this, make sure y'all send them back my way so I can get my credit, man. Y'all hold me down, right? So let's get into it. The wall, the dating wall. So the dating wall is, let me go full screen so I can see this a little bit better, y'all. My big screen kind of, you feel me? So yeah, the dating wall, also known as the wall, can be described as a time period in a woman's life where they are no longer able to attract the caliber of potential suitors that they're accustomed to attracting. Let me get that banner out the way. My bad, y'all. Let me get this banner out the way. All right. So defined, the dating wall. The dating wall, also known as the wall, can be described as a time period in a woman's life where they are no longer able to attract the caliber of potential suitors that they're accustomed to attracting. Some say the wall begins to form when a woman is in her late 20s and is fully formed by 40 years old for the average woman. So that is my definition. That is the classic code's definition of the dating wall. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said and with that being defined, let's talk about how people get there. Hitting the wall. Men can hit a wall too, but I think it's kind of self-inflicted with us. The difference between a man being at the wall is we can always get off the wall, right? If a man is at the wall, it's probably for a specific reason that's fixable. A lot of times when women hit the wall, they're at the point of no return, right? The things that are keeping them out of consideration for marriage at that point, when they've hit the wall, are things that they can no longer fix. You can't undo it, right? Some of the stuff can't be undone. And that's on us, right? We get to decide that as men. And I think that's why it's important for women to go back to considering what men are saying in regards to what they're attracted to. You have a lot of lack of consideration for what men are attracted to. Like, we'll scream we like natural hair. They do not care. They'll go spend $1,000 on a wig in a heartbeat. They don't care that you don't like it. Deal with it. We could say we don't like them long ass nails. They don't care, bro. They still going to get it, and they're going to put some rhinestones on them hoes. You know what I'm saying? They don't care. We stay saying we don't like beat faces and a whole bunch of makeup. We stay saying it. They don't care. They still beating. I'm talking about face, a whole different complexion from the neck. They don't care. So with that being said, you spend all that time not caring, and it adds up to time, time spent and time elapsed. And you wake up and you at an age where it's like the men that are your age aren't looking at you. They're looking at something younger with a little less mileage. And that mileage could be in a lot of different ways. It could be trauma mileage. It could be having kids mileage. It could be body count mileage. It could be a combination of all of those things. It could be a lot of things. So that's when you know you've hit the wall. When you're a woman that normally, like the sister that we just watched on the reaction video was using a scale of 1 to 10. So if a woman normally deals with men that are 8s and 9s, let's take 7 out. If a woman normally deals with men that are 8s and 9s, and then all of a sudden she turns 35, and now when she goes out, the men that she considers 8s and 9s and that she normally looks at and they look back, they no longer looking like that. Or they'll look but won't touch, or look but won't speak. All of a sudden, things have changed. There's a shift in the energy. All of a sudden, the dude that is bold enough to walk up and say something, he looks a little different. Wouldn't even have been brave enough to speak in the past. But now, all of a sudden, 5s are trying to shoot. That's when it's time to look at yourself and be like, hold on. I had to do it before. I was at a wall before. But again, being a man, I was able to get off the wall, right? I was at a wall. I had ballooned up to like 260 pounds, you know, and, you know, being heavier, I still had women that were attracted to me, but it was a different caliber of women than I was accustomed to attracting, right? So when I was heavier, when I was, you know, a chunky guy, the women that would see me and, you know, take interest would be normally the friend out the group that I would pass on, right? It'd be the other friend that I'm used to getting, right? When I got myself back in shape, because I was the same person, but I wasn't physically taking care of myself. So I didn't look my best, didn't feel my best. I wasn't the most confident, right? So what, you know, your aura goes down when you operating like that. So then when I got my glow back, now when I step outside, what I'm used to is what it is. You know what I mean? So as men, we can get off the wall. Like you might be a guy that normally do well with women, but you down on your luck right now. And you got to dig yourself out of hole and get back right. Well, you know, the time you spending and the little time, you know how the game go. But that window of time where you a brokey or a broke boy or whatever the case may be, you know what I mean? You may not even feel like you got it in you because you on the wall right now. You at a wall. So you may not even feel like you got it in you to be shooting at nothing or pursuing nothing or taking nothing out or none of that, right? Because you got other things you're supposed to be focusing on. But then when you get your shit back up, you off the wall. So as men, we don't hit a wall that is indefinite. That's the difference between hitting a wall for a man and hitting a wall for a woman. When women hit the wall, it's normally the point of no return. There normally is no going back. It's just like the sister said in the reaction video. She's like, at 45 years old, dating these men around my age, I feel like I'm dating off the clearance rack. Well, how you think they see you? Respectfully, how you think they see you? They prefer that little 30-year-old right there. They not looking at you like, you know, they not, because 9 times out of 10 at 45 on average, you know, that sister gonna come with some kids, some trauma, and some failures, whether it's a failed marriage or failed long-term relationships, a whole bunch of situationships. Like, this is what typically you can expect. And then when you hear different, you damn near got to watch them close because they could be lying. Because it's like, what's the odds? You've been on Earth 4 decades and a half, and your experiences are this minimal. Like, yeah, you're not the 40-year-old virgin. It's just a movie. You feel me? So, yeah, hitting the wall is definitely something that I wanted to define and spell out, because I think it's a terminology that we kind of throw around and use, but I think it's important for words and terms to have some sort of a definition. So here at the Classic Codes, remember, we defined it first. The dating wall. The dating wall, also known as the wall, can be described as a time period in a woman's life where they are no longer able to attract the caliber of potential suitors that they're accustomed to attracting. Some say the wall begins to form when a woman is in her late 20s and is fully formed by 40 years old for the average woman. So that is the dating wall explained and spelled out for y'all, man. I hope y'all take something from that. I hope you understand that time works backwards for men and women. Women are born with their value as far as the dating market is concerned. They're going to look their best, be the most spry, be the most pliable, be the most, fertile, all of those things in their early adulthood. That's when they should be trying to secure a husband. For men, generally speaking, we have to build our value. We have to get out into the workforce. We have to build up a career, build up some earnings to be able to take care of said family that we desire. And so because of that, we have to become, they are born how they are. The clocks work backwards. As long as, feminism kind of put us in a situation where we try to look at everything like it's the same, but it's just not the same. Men and women will never be the same. It wasn't God's design. Take that to God. You know what I'm saying? The clocks do work backwards. And so when we discuss hitting the wall, I think it's important to understand that as a woman who desires lifelong companionship with a man, you're going to have the best chances of getting the man that you really would want to be with and lock in with out of all the potential suitors when you're at your best and in your prime. Don't waste the prime, focused on doing you. And then when you want to get serious, you at the wall. You feel me? So, yeah, man, that's the code language for today. Hitting the wall.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Weathered the winters when left in the cold. Harden my heart and now harden the flow.